Welcome back to Southpaw Picks, and you're here with your host Charles, and this is UFC 277, Peña versus Nunes, followed by another title fight. The intern flyweight strap is on the line. Brandon Moreno versus Kai Car France. So you know we had to get a special guest to do the breakdown for such a monster card. We got DJC Combat coming in to help us break down the main card. He's going to share his thoughts. He's going to give his opinions and give his picks for who he thinks are going to win the matchups on the main card. Then he'll kick it back to me, and I'll carry you guys through the prelims. But before we get into that, we got to do a little recap of last week, where we go 9-5 in predictions. The public parlay of the week hits. I also hit a live shot on Nicholas Dalby after the second round. You know, we all agree we couldn't take him at that favorite spot. But when Claudio had a good first round, you know your boy had to jump in it, not to mention another monster parlay, Curtis Blades, Nikita Krylov, Molly McCann, and Jack the Joker Hermanson. So we profit 3.96 units. That brings us to 80 units for the year, guys. I said I wanted 100. When I started this channel, I said I wanted 100 units to showcase my skill level in the betting community and showcase my ability as an MMA capper. And we are at 80 units with all these months left. Trust me, you guys have not seen a back-to-back losing week. You've only seen 1 week where my prediction records were under 500. Guys, we might blow past 100 units. The sky's the limit here at Southpaw Picks, and I want to thank you guys again for tuning in. So allow me to let you guys into the conversation I had with DJC Combat as we break down the main card of UFC 277. Welcome back to Southpaw Picks, and you're here with your host Charles, and we are welcomed back again by a special guest, DJC Combat. As you know, he helped us out with the UFC 275 breakdowns, where we had an amazing show. And we were both on the dog there in Talia Santos. Now, I just want to get a couple thoughts quickly on that since that's the last time we spoke. Man, what an outcome, eh? I thought we predicted the winner there, but how did you feel after watching that fight?
I was really frustrated with the judges. They took that from us. Like, I made that accurate call. My assessment of the matchup was like spot on. And nothing bothers me more when I'm on the money about something and I get it taken away from me. Like, for example, Yeon versus Sterling 1. I remember I broke down that fight perfectly. It was going the exact way. Yeon throws an illegal knee, gets DQ'd. Mm-hmm. I predicted Santos versus Shevchenko to go the exact way it did. Not the exact way, because I didn't predict Shevchenko would come back late, but you get the point. Like, I was on the money. I said Santos had size and strength, which was going to translate into her grappling advantage, because if you're the same size as Shevchenko, you're not going to out-grapple her. If you're bigger, you can do that. And I thought, okay, that's Santos' path to victory, and that's how she's going to win. And I thought she clearly won the first 3 rounds, but the judges pulled some strings to give Valentina one of the first 3, even though it was a clear 30-27 clean sweep in the championship rounds. They set her up for failure, so, yeah, what can you do?
And I got to give Talia Santos a lot of credit, too, in the fact that she suffers the broken orbital in the 4th round and still pushed through. Hung in there, right? She's young. We'll see her again, and I'm interested to see who she comes back to next or what she does next.
Yeah. Could be a rematch or could be a contender. We'll see.
Yeah. I know that Ferro Chukagian fight is probably a big deal in the flyweight division, but we'll see how it goes. But yeah, we're moving on to bigger and better things. We got UFC 277 here, and you know how we do it. We kick it off straight with the main card. As you know, DJC Combat, true supporter of Julianna Peña. And I'm going to get him to kick off the breakdown here in the main event. So how do you see this fight playing out?
So I know, like, a lot of people think the first fight was a fluke. They blame the loss on, Nunes having COVID and stuff like that. And they blame the loss on how Nunes just, kind of fought bad. So a lot of people, they believe that, Nunes will just come back, correct her mistakes, and she'll just easily just win comfortably. But I'm honestly in the minority. I may have picked Nunes last time, even though I wanted Peña to win, but this time I'm picking Peña because now I've seen that fight. I've seen ways that she can beat Nunes, how she gives her problems. And I can understand the whole fluke talks if, let's say, this is the first time we've seen Amanda Nunes slow down after a good first round. That was the first time she's ever gassed out. I could understand a little bit, but this has happened before in her other 5 losses. You know what I mean? Happened when she fought Alexis Davis. She slowed down, got melted, lost. Happened with Kat Zingano. And quite frankly, 3 years ago, which is not too long ago, almost happened the same way with Jermaine Duranamy. Good first round. But she put too much into that first round, gassed, but she was lucky enough to have that grappling advantage, fall back on the takedowns.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think she's going to have that edge on Julianna in terms of grappling because Julianna is very taxing to grapple with. She's good off her back, good scrambles, and eventually she kind of comes out on top in those grappling situations. So Nunes doesn't have that option. And I just think styles, they make matchups. Julianna literally called exactly how she was going to win the fight. And, she did just that. So it's hard to call it a fluke based off those reasons. And I just think Julianna just has a style that is just sort of tailor-made to beat Nunes. Julianna has that pressure, that volume-heavy style, high output, and that kind of pace will get Amanda Nunes tired. Amanda Nunes is very Jose Aldo-esque where, she can go 5 rounds depending on who she's fighting. But if she fights a certain style that's meant to drive the gas out of you, like Julianna has a style where she'll tire girls out. I think Nunes is still going to get tired. Now, I do think Amanda Nunes, she will try to fight smarter and she'll come back with strategy. She's not going to try to take her out right away. But I still see the inevitable happening in this fight. I still think Julianna will push a pace, which will force Nunes to react. She'll react to that pressure by trying to throw back big shots. And Julianna, man, she's getting better every time we see her. She's still progressing. Her boxing has gotten better. And one key factor in this fight is that she has reach. She can match Amanda's reach. And I'm sure there's other girls who've been as long as Nunes, but they weren't confident in using it. They didn't know how to use it. Julianna knows how to use that reach along with the improvements in her boxing. So it allows her to kind of touch Nunes from afar to where other girls might not be able to. And Nunes can't just, safely snipe Julianna at a range without kind of getting hit back. And then, quite frankly and shockingly, in the pocket is sort of where Julianna has an advantage. And then she's got a good chin. She also hits hard. She can hurt Nunes, and Nunes does not like getting hit. Julianna doesn't mind getting hit. I think she's tougher physically, and I think she's even mentally stronger, which will play a huge factor. Julianna knows how to adapt and adjust. Like, okay, Nunes won the first round, but that fight was just getting started. Julianna's a slow starter. You got to be able to keep that up for the whole fight. Her performances are never 100% clean. They're never 100% dominant or perfect, but she gets it done. And I think, Nunes will come back with the adjustments. However, I think Julianna is just going to adapt to those adjustments. And I just feel like she's going to make something happen. She has the mental edge as well in this fight, being that she just won and it was that recent. It wasn't too long ago.
Yeah.
And usually immediate rematches usually favor the winner whenever it's the new champ fighting the former champ automatically. Not always. We've seen Figueiredo get it back. But in most cases, historically speaking, it usually goes the same way. And I kind of feel like Julianna's in her head just based off the way Nunes has been acting on Tough. She hasn't handled the loss well. She hasn't talked about what she did wrong in the fight. She's just making a bunch of excuses, which is not really a good look. She seems kind of emotional and tense. So I don't know if we're going to see like a relaxed Amanda Nunes out there against Julianna Peña. She could come out there tense, and that might lead to her losing composure, and that might lead to her, slowing down in this fight. So I got to favor Julianna. I just feel like she has the perfect style to beat Nunes. Like I said, she can brawl with her. She can take her shots. She can hurt her. She can grapple with her, and she can outpace Nunes. So, yeah, and Nunes just doesn't have that composure under fire. And striking wise too, Nunes doesn't. I don't know. Her striking is good, but it's not that much better than Julianna's. It's not like a Jermaine Duranamy or Shevchenko where she can just completely shut Peña down on the feet. They're kind of even there. But like I said, Julianna, she's got that cardio, she's got that pace, and I think it's going to show in this fight. And I think inevitably, no matter what Nunes does, I do see her fading and kind of melting in this fight. Now, I don't know if Julianna will win by decision or finish. I do hope for another finish. It'll be perfect, just to leave no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
But I think somehow Julianna is going to get it done again.
Well, this fight to me has, I know a lot of people like to throw a lot of shade on women's MMA, and I'm not one of those people at all. I love the women's division. Fights like this get me so excited, get me juiced up. Now, I'm coming from an interesting space because Amanda Nunes used to be probably top 5, one of my favorite fighters ever.
Yeah, me too, actually.
Right? And seeing that fight play out, I remember it like it was yesterday, sitting here watching the tide start to turn and me noticing it in the second round. Oh, man, Peña's landing on Amanda. Peña's landing on Amanda. I remember reaching out to my wife. She was in the bathroom. I'm like, oh my God, so this is going down right now. You got to get out here. You got to see this. And then to see her go to the floor and tap when the hooks weren't in, the choke didn't even look like it was on tight. It almost looked like one of those little big brother headlocks, honestly. And Amanda wanted out. And, you know, to me, that depreciated her in my mind to see her go out like that. You know, I feel like you always want to see your champions go out on their shield, right?
Yes.
Go out. Go out. A part of me wonders if Amanda in the back of her mind was taking inventory. When she was fighting and hitting Peña, was she thinking, oh, man, I'm getting tired. And there's a lot more fight left. And she got me down. Now I'm here. You know what? I'm going to get a rematch anyways. Let me get out of here. Because when the fight was over, Amanda, besides from a bloody nose, she looked pretty clean. Peña was rocking these bruises. She looked like she was in a war.
Yep.
And just like you said, I think Peña thrives in a war. And I've always had this weird opinion on Peña just because, you know, I'm in the betting space and I bet against her in that Jermaine Durandamir fight. I had a big position on her. And I'll be honest with you, I felt good going into it. But when the fight was starting to play out, man, Peña got me really nervous, man. She got me really nervous. She had a strong second round. The third round was really, the tide was turning in Peña's favor in the third round. She stuck her head in, and Jermaine Durandamir slips in that choke, which, you know, it's safe to say maybe she didn't expect that coming from her. Could have been a misjudgment there. And we know Peña has been susceptible to subs, right? Just because she's so relentless. But in that moment, I didn't feel comfortable. In that third round, Peña was really putting the pace on Jermaine Durandamir, right? Really showing her toughness there. And she got put out, okay. She responds back. Once again, seeing her like that, I went and took a position on Sarah McMahon, was feeling good in the first round. And what did Peña do again? She rallied back, right? I feel like Amanda's had so much years where she's been the bully, and Peña stood up to the bully. You know, Peña stood up there. She had a bad first round. Amanda clearly dominated her in the first round, looked way stronger, and almost had her in a rear naked choke, which I think people forget. She had the body lock, had her in the rear naked choke, but Peña fought out of it, didn't get subbed, and came out there with a mentality like, do or die. Yeah. Peña looked like she didn't care about her defense either. She's like, you know what? Let's throw down. And I hear those expressions, you know, we're going to see who ovaries bigger. I do believe Peña has more heart in this fight. Now, 5 months, it's such a good point. You know, how much can change in 5 months? We know the history of people not getting their belt back. I think the stats is like 11-2.
Yes.
Like, these guys retain their belt. You know, the age is similar. The motivation, you know, it's such a difficult place for me because Amanda was really and truly one of my favorite fighters, period.
Yep.
Seeing her go out like that changed my opinion on her. And I see her talk, and I want to believe her. I really do. I want to believe her. But history, the stylistic matchup, the fact of the matter is that we've seen this before. Rose beat Joanna. Oh, it was a fluke. It was a fluke. It was a fluke. Rose comes in as the underdog, clearly wins. Yep. Another situation with Rose, beats Wei Lee. Oh, it's a fluke. It's a fluke. It's a fluke. Is the underdog again, wins again. Same thing with Max Holloway. And you know what? In a weird sense, we saw Max Holloway go through the same thing with Volkanovski, right? It's some people just got your number. Sometimes it's just style matchups. And that granite chin of Peña, I feel like she's going to go through the fire. I do think Amanda will start out a little bit more calm, maybe work the leg kicks a little bit more, work her jab a little bit more, but the jab's not effective because of the reach.
Yes.
And Peña really showed off a lot with her jabs. Amanda loops a lot, right? Mm-hmm. She loops a lot, and Peña was throwing everything down the middle. And Amanda admitted that she was hurt by the shots of Peña.
Yep. She's got to fix her defense.
Probably going to win the early rounds, but I do see Peña coming away with it late. Yep. So for my official prediction, you know, I feel like when this fight's over, there's going to be a whole bunch of people where whoever they pick, they're going to look at you and say, how dare you bet against Amanda, or how dare you doubt Peña? It's going to be one of those things. Whoever's right is going to rub it in the face of the person that went wrong.
Hopefully that's me.
And, you know, I was debating back and forth, and I was saying that I'm going to make my decision here. And I got to say, I cannot back the Lioness. You know, I think Julianna Peña is going to put a stamp on this. I do feel like the fight will be closer. I hope we don't see a fight where it's so close it goes to scorecards, and then all of a sudden our hands are up in the air like, what just happened here? And you know, UFC is a big money thing. They probably want the trilogy.
Yep.
So hopefully Peña gets to finish, because I don't think she would want to go to the scorecards in this situation.
Saw what happened with Moreno, so.
Exactly, happened with Moreno, you know what I mean? And That fight was very close. The knockdown's kind of sealed it, even though Moreno won majority of the rounds here. But I'm gonna side with you as well. I'm gonna pick the Venezuelan Vixen, and still, but so eager to see how this fight plays out, and what a main event we got. So we're gonna move on down to the co-main event here, which is another exciting fight. Honestly, this main card is a beautiful main card.
It is.
We got the flyweight interim title on the line here. We got Brandon Moreno versus Kai Kara-France. And I'll kick this one off here. It was a beauty rewatching the old fight. I totally forgot about it, actually, because it was so long ago. And what a great fight that was. For 3 rounds, Kai Kara-France came out, definitely edged it out in the first round, landed a heavy overhand right, stumbled Moreno. But in the second and the third round, Moreno does what he does best. Such a dog, such a heart, the pace, the pressure. I love his combination where he goes left, right, high left kick. It's beautiful, beautiful to watch. He's a dog in there. One thing I don't like about Moreno, though, is he does take shots, man. He does get hit. He stands in the pocket, makes his little kissy faces, ducks, does the peekaboo defense, but he does take a lot of shots. And you know what? Watching that Figueiredo fight, he was winning a lot, and so Figueiredo was able to land a knockdown.
Yeah.
Right? And you know how it is, MMA scoring. You get the knockdown, the judges are just 10-9 the other way. It doesn't matter what you do.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what stole the rounds for Figueiredo, because Brandon Moreno, that whole fight, honestly, was hurting him, outboxing him, and just doing the totality of the fight, applied way more damage. But Figueiredo won the moments. Close fight. It could have gone either way. Now, here in this rematch, I'm a little worried about the camp change. I'm a little worried about the fact that Kai Kara-France's best weapon is the overhand right. And he's been landing it on the money recently. And he's already proven that he can drop Moreno with that shot. Now, Kai's never been 5 rounds. And obviously that's extremely important. You got a guy who's battle-tested in Moreno. And I feel like in these situations, you always got to go with the guy with more tools. And I just feel like Moreno's got more tools to win. People are like, oh, Kai Kara-France's takedown defense is good. Go watch those fights. Majority of those guys that couldn't get him down were just shooting double legs. Yeah. Brandon Moreno body lock takedowns. He gets you in your hip. He wrenches you up. And all those guys out of that James Krause camp, they do the same thing. Wrench against the cage, reap the legs, and pull you down. They don't shoot double legs, right? Same thing with Israel. Israel's good at defending double legs. But let somebody go in there and body lock him and take him down, which we haven't seen yet. But I guarantee you someone gets in on Izzy's hips and pulls him down, with the upper body, more Greco-Roman style. It might be a lot different. I feel like they're pretty good at defending double legs. Yeah. Kai Kara-France at the price as an underdog. I understand the value. I understand why people would want to take the shot on him. But I do feel like we've seen this fight play out before. They're the same age. It was a few years ago. Brandon Moreno was coming on strong in the second and third, and I know he can fight for 4 and 5. I do believe this contest will be close, and I see Brandon Moreno edging out a narrow 48-47 and becoming the interim flyweight champion, becoming a 2-time champion. And that's how I see this fight going. How do you see the outcome of this fight going?
I think it's going to be the same result. Now, I'm not underestimating Kai Kara-France. I see why he has the hype he does. He's very dangerous. He's very powerful. He's tough, pressure heavy, and he's gotten a lot better. He's fixed his accuracy. That's why he's landing these shots cleaner. But as you said, yeah, he's got good takedown defense, but his style is mainly effective, but against really good wrestlers who don't have the striking to keep up with him. You know what I mean? Like Askarov or Bontarine. And okay, he knocked out Cody Garbrandt, but Cody Garbrandt at this point, who doesn't beat him? He always had chin problems. No business being in flyweight. Brandon Moreno's not Cody Garbrandt. I think Brandon's more at an elite level than anyone else that Kai has fought. He's been there. He's done that. Like you said, he has more tools. He's more durable than anyone Kai has ever fought. He just has a technical advantage and a volume advantage. So I feel like even though Kai will try to be more accurate with his shots, I just feel like the combination punching is going to disrupt Kai's setup to really land what he wants. And, you're right. Moreno does take a lot of shots, and that does kind of worry me. The damage he took in his last fight could play dividends in this one, right? But as long as Moreno's defense is on point, as long as he doesn't try to meet Kai with power like he did to Davison in the third, which was a huge mistake, as long as he plays it technical and smart, I think he has this one. And I'll agree with you that, yeah, it will be a decision. It will be uber competitive, but I just think Moreno has his number, and I just edge him in this one. But we'll see.
Sounds good. We both riding with Assassin Baby. Moving on down, we got a heavyweight contest here. The Black Beast, Derrick Lewis versus Sergei Pavlovich. And I'm going to kick it to you. How do you see this heavyweight matchup playing out? Because I got an interesting take for sure.
This fight makes me nervous. I mean, a lot of people are picking Sergei, and I could see why. Lewis lost his last fight by knockout not too long ago. And even though the fight before that he beat Dacus, he lost his other fight. You know what I mean? So he's had a little bit rough, and Sergei is dangerous, powerful, good striker, very deadly. And he's more technical than Lewis, but it's hard to bet against Lewis in this fight because Lewis has been there. He's done that. He has more experience, and I understand styles make matchups, not necessarily resumes, but I just feel like Lewis has been in there with better competition. He's fought and beat better comp. Sergei Pavlovich is 15-1, but against who? Who has he really beaten that's really worth mentioning? You know what I mean? Like Derrick Lewis knocked out Blades, knocked out Volkov. You could say it's fluky, whether you could call it a fluke or not. It doesn't matter. Whether it's a fluke or not, he still won those fights. Would those guys beat him if they fought again? Sure. But a win is a win. He still beat those guys. He's been at the top for a long time. And he always makes up for his lack of technicality, his technical disadvantage, with his power. And he always finds a way to land it. He's tough, and he finds a way to get it done with his power. And even though Sergei's good, I don't know if he'll have the slickness or the elusiveness of a Cyril Gane to evade that power of Derrick Lewis. I don't know if he's going to be that tough, powerful brick house that Tai Tuivasa was to march Lewis down, handle those bombs, and give them right back. I don't know if he's going to have the durability of Tai, and I don't know if he's going to have the slickness of Gane. And I don't think he's as good as the guys that Lewis has fought and beat. I don't think he could hang with the guys that Lewis has fought and beat. So I got to go with Lewis. I could see a scenario where Sergei, he has the edge early, but Lewis just does what he does, and he lands one right on the button and puts him out. Now, if Sergei has that Russian durability that, Russians are kind of known for, where he can just handle that power like it's nothing and keep doing his thing, Lewis might be in a lot of trouble. He might be in a lot of trouble. But I got to go with Derrick Lewis. If he loses, I won't be surprised, but I just feel like it's a safer bet.
Tough guy to bet against the Black Beast. And I got to say, Derrick Lewis has burned me. I've won against Derrick Lewis. I had Tai Tuivasa there as a big dog against Derrick Lewis, and he almost got Tai out of there.
Yeah,
he really did. That final ending sequence of him pounding him against the cage and him letting him up and then getting that vicious elbow and seeing Derrick drop like a ton of bricks. I've never seen that visual before like that. Usually we see the TKO. We see the TKO where Derrick kind of says, okay, I'm done. I don't want to fight no more. But to see him.
He got put out.
Oh, man, he fell like a ton of bricks. Boom. Right? Insane. Derrick Lewis has definitely, let us know over the years that, he's not as committed to the sport as a lot of other people. He's a guy that has the gift. He has the ultimate equalizer. He's burned me when I had Curtis Blades. That uppercut was vicious. It's so crazy how we've seen it so many times where Derrick Lewis is just losing.
And then out of nowhere.
Flatline, it's over. He's deceptively fast too. Even though he doesn't do too much, when he responds with these shots, they're quick. Definitely. He has a sneaky athleticism with those switch kicks, and he also has the ability to take you to the ground.
Yeah.
Right? People don't like to talk about it. When he's on his back, he's pretty useless. But when he gets people down and mounts them, vicious.
In trouble.
Vicious. Now, I may have to learn another lesson again because, like I said, I got away with it with Tai, but I didn't get away with it with Blades, and I definitely didn't get away with it with Chris Dacus.
Or Volkov, and I picked him.
Yeah, you picked up Volkov too. So,
yep.
Sergei, to me, I agree. The UFC resume is very bare. He's beating guys that are, irrelevant. He's got the reach advantage. He's got the youth advantage. He's a big boy too. And I'm just a little worried about Derrick Lewis because how long ago was that fight? 5 months ago?
Yeah.
He's been fighting very recently though. Like 5 months ago, he fought Chris Dacus. Then 3 weeks later, he fought Tai. He's had quite a busy schedule. And I'm just wondering if he's here to pick up paychecks because I'm sure Derrick Lewis is probably, when he walks in that octagon, probably leaves with at least $350K. Like it leaks, right? Especially in a losing effort. Probably walks away with 350. So I think he's going to fight as long as they keep sending him fights.
Me too.
Here, I'm going to side with Sergei. It makes me uncomfortable to know the amount of people that are really siding with him. And like you said, we've seen this spot before where Derrick Lewis makes you pay.
Yes.
Right? I'm hoping he doesn't make me pay. I'm going to have an official shot on Sergei. I'm not going to take him by KO. I'm going to say that he respects everything Derrick Lewis does and stays on the outside and lands the jab and tries to frustrate Derrick Lewis. He has a combat sambo background, so the ability to, rustle and take down is there. But I'm going to go with the younger guy here, but reluctantly, because we already know It can end at any moment, but I'm going to side with Sergei. And we got a little dissension here in the heavyweight main event. Moving on down here to another fantastic fight, man. We got another flyweight bout here. Alexandre Pantoja versus Alex Perez. Now, I'll kick this one off. As you know, we heard Pantoja say in the press conference that he's proud of his sons. He's proud of his sons. And you know what? I don't know why Pantoja doesn't get the respect he deserves. He is
why he's not fighting
elite.
for the title.
Exactly. Why is he taking so long to fight for this title? He did lose to Figueiredo in a fight of the night, though. You know, once again, Figueiredo doing what he does best: lose, land a knockdown, steal a round. You know, and obviously Figueiredo, elite of the division, right? The Askar fight, I was on him. I didn't feel comfortable going to the scorecards, but I got away with that one. It was real close. I said, thank God we got away with the dog money there. But I rate Brandon Royval in such high regard. Like, to me, Brandon Royval is probably the scariest person to fight at flyweight. He's chaotic. He's a psychopath. His scrambles are insane. He doesn't stop moving. And I feel like he was the style that would have wore out Pantoja. Alex Perez here, to me, as you know, 24-6, great record. A lot of the guys he beat are not in the UFC anymore. 2-year layoff. Been struggling to come in on weight multiple times. You know, hasn't really fought. You know, the highest competitive win he has against is Formiga, who pretty much is on the way out at this point. I think Pantoja has the power advantage. I think he has the jiu-jitsu advantage. I think he has the toughness as well. I don't see Perez really wet blanketing him here and trying to wear him out. We know Perez likes to go for the calf kicks. We know he's got a good one too, but I just like the pedigree. I like the ability of Pantoja, and I'm sure he's been guaranteed that he is fighting for the belt next because they can't shut him out no more.
Nope.
It is completely unfair. He's over there at ATT training with Horiguchi, Mohamed Mahayev, like pretty much the best flyweights in the world. And you know what? Timo Yama is good, but like, who's there? Is he training with Carlos Esparza? Is that really his best look at his position? I don't know how many other flyweights are out there at Campo Yama. I got to side with Pantoja. He's got wins over Moreno twice. Kai Car France, you know, Manel Kopp. He's an elite of the elite. So I'm going to say Alexandre Pantoja wins, and I'm going to say he wins by second round sub rear naked choke. How do you see this fight playing out?
That's exactly my prediction on verdict. I have him by second round sub.
The round sub.
Yeah, so I do think Pantoja is going to win. Now, I'm not counting out Alex Perez. I do think that he does have a good chance. He has passed the victory through his wrestling. We saw Askar use wrestling. Yeah. Perez has good cardio. He pushes a good pace, and we have seen that, you know, that Pantoja can kind of slow down a little bit. Yeah. So an upset wouldn't surprise me, but he's just been more active throughout the years. Perez hasn't fought in 2 years since the Figgy fight. And I just think Pantoja, he's of that upper echelon with the best flyweights in the world, where I don't know if Perez is really there yet. I don't know where his headspace is at. And Pantoja is reminiscent to Perez what Figueiredo was to him. Yeah. Powerful and dangerous BJJ. He can hurt Perez on the feet, but he's a threat to him on the ground as well. He could submit Alex Perez 100%. So, yeah, I got to go with him. And I think that Pantoja should be fighting for the title this week. And I think Moreno should be fighting Perez. And I think Pantoja should be fighting Kai because Moreno lost him twice. He's already had his chances with Figueiredo. I think the champion deserves a fresh matchup. Either way, I want a fresh matchup. I'm sick of seeing Moreno versus Figueiredo. I've seen it 3 times already. I would like to see a rematch with Pantoja and Fig. Or Kai Car France and Fig. So Pantoja deserves a shot, and I do hope he gets it. But yeah, I gotta side with him here as well. I think he's the better fighter.
I gotta agree. It's gonna be a close fight. Definitely will be one of the most exciting fights on the card. But we're both siding with Pantoja. Now we got the main event opener, and we got Magomed Ankalaev versus Anthony Lionheart Smith. I'm going to kick it off to you first. How do you see this fight playing out? Magomed coming in here as a huge favorite.
I mean, I like Smith just as much as the next guy does. He's wholesome. He's awesome. His style is fun to watch. He's a good guy. You know, I'm a Smith fan, but
great broadcaster too.
I don't see him getting it done. There's just a certain level of competition that Anthony Smith just can't beat. Like the former champion Glover Teixeira. Rakic, who, even though he lost his last fight, you know, he still has potential to be a future champion, you know what I mean?
Contender.
John Jones, you know what I mean? Like, there's certain level of fighters I don't see him beating, and I just think what's his name? I think that what's his name again? Magomed, yes. Magomed, he's of that level, and I just think he's better everywhere. I think he's better on the feet, he's faster, better boxer, better kicks, better in the clinch, and he's got a wrestling advantage as well, and he can beat Smith on the ground as well. I think Smith's best chance is to maybe catch Magomed off his back with a triangle choke, like Paul Craig did to him. But Magomed, he's learned from his mistake. He's not going to make that mistake again. I think if they're on the ground, Magomed's going to have good positional awareness, good top control. And if they're on the feet, I think Magomed, he dominates, and I think he wins comfortably wherever the fight goes. Now, Anthony is a dog. He could pull off the upset. I'm not counting him out, but I just don't see it. But we'll see.
Do you see a finish, or you think this will hit the cards?
I think it'll hit the cards because Smith is very durable. He's a tough guy to put away. But what I do think will happen is there will be moments where Magomed is rocking Smith a few times, almost finishes him, but Smith kind of toughs it out and he survives, but he loses the rounds from getting dropped and curling up, like he normally does.
I gotta say, Magomed Ankalaev, to me, a couple years ago, I already decided that he's the future champion at some point. With the Russians, they make them take the long road just based on the language barrier and, the UFC being a very Western, promotion. They make these Russians take the long way to the title shot, which he has done.
Yeah.
I got to say, I was watching the interviews on Anthony Smith, and I knew he was going to have trouble making weight.
He had trouble making weight?
Yeah, he had to get the box of shame. He came in at 206.
Wow.
And I noticed that from his MMA Junkie video. I just saw his face was a little bit more puffy than I was used to. He just looked a little bit more thicker, just in general. Looked a little bit more heavier coming in here. And his body also reminds me of the physical shape he came in when he came to the Glover fight. The other three fights, he came in better shape on the scale, man.
Wow.
He looks a little soft. He looks a little soft this week. I heard he was training in Aruba. That's why he came in with this tan. It sounds like he was vacationing in Aruba. I wonder what his motivation is here. He knows that he's fighting the toughest fight in the division. He's talked about making this a dog fight. So that does, implicate to me that he's going to just come forward and throw down.
Yeah.
He's going to throw down. Now, Magomed, as we know, nasty counter striker, very well-rounded, very patient. And a lot of people think that, if you make it rough and aggressive like Krylov in round one, or you can probably get to him, which I totally disagree with because he came out on top in all those fights.
It's easier said than done.
Yeah, easier said than done. And there's something about him. He kind of looks like Dracula to me. I don't know. He just gives me that vibe. He probably should call himself Dracula. But he's scary, man. He's a scary Dagestani striker, grappler. I've heard stories from all these extreme couture guys that talk about that he is the toughest go in the gym. He can't be taken down. You can't touch him.
Wow.
He disappointed me when he didn't get the finish against Santos. I felt he was playing with his food a little bit.
Nearly got finished himself too.
Got dropped. I think it was the third or second round. And we know Santos finished Lionheart with a body kick back in the day as well. That was the last time I think Smith got finished at 205. And I just got to say, what's the motivation here for Smith? This is his 52nd fight. Yes, he is a dog. But we all know Ankalaev is coming to just collect a scalp. He's collecting a scalp. Smith's on a 3-fight win streak. You could justify him stepping in one of these title matches. I don't think they're going to give it to Yeon, so maybe Yeon might have to deal with Magomed, which would be a very interesting matchup there. I'd like to see that one. So, as square as it sounds, the minus 550 favorite, I got to side with him too. I say Magomed needs a finish here. So I'm going to predict that he gets it done. I'm going to say he could put Smith away, just seeing the shape he came in.
It's possible. You know what the issue could be with Smith too is that he was dealing with an injury, I think, late last year. I think they actually wanted him to fight maybe in December of 2021 or March, but he wasn't ready. So maybe that's why he might not be in the best shape, or he's struggling with his weight cut. So that could be a huge factor. But I think, like I said, there's a certain tier of competition that he beats and that he doesn't. His last 3 opponents were like these inexperienced, up-and-coming prospects who haven't seen the level he's seen.
Yeah, Devin Clark.
Yeah, but then there's the Ankalaevs, the Glover Teixeiras. I think he would have lost to Jan Blachowicz if that fight happened, or Rakic. Those are the guys I don't see him getting past in this division.
Yeah, I got to agree. So we're both siding with Magomed Ankalaev. Now, that concludes our main event breakdown. I want to thank DJC Combat again for coming in here and showing up and giving us his opinion and breakdowns on the spot. Aside from the main event, is there any other fight that you feel like you are the most excited to see, even if it's on the prelims? Is there any other fight that you're just you can't wait?
I don't know. I'll say maybe the co-main event, Kai Kara-France and Brandon Moreno. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm interested
me
to
too.
see how that plays out. I want to see what everyone else sees in Kai because there's a lot of people picking him. So
Yep.
I want to see how this plays out and what happens with the flyweight division.
All right, sounds good, man. Thank you again for coming.
Yep, no
Everybody, be
problem.
sure to check out DJC Combat's YouTube. He drops great videos over there, a lot of interesting content. And I want to thank you again for coming out. This is Southpaw Picks, and I'll catch you guys later.
All right.
And there you have it. That was our main card breakdown. I want to thank DJC Combat again for sharing his thoughts and his opinion for these monster pay-per-views. I like to have a guest, man. I like to get a different opinion in here so we can showcase a bit of diversity on this channel. But let's get into the prelims, guys. Let's get into the prelims. Definitely not the sexy part of these events, but the parts there's a lot of value. And let's kick it off with the prelim headliner. We got Alex the Great White Morono versus Matt Semi, the Jedi Semelsberger. Man, this contest is at 170 pounds. We got a guy in Morono who's really, a veteran of the sport. Has a lot of decent wins out here, winning 4 out of his last 5, and Matthew Zettersberger on the other side winning 4 out of his last 5 as well. Definitely not fighting the notable names, but going up against guys that are young and impressive. I gotta say, Matthew Zettersberger has a power advantage here. He has some nice straight shots. He's physically strong. He's the better athlete here. And now he has enough UFC experience under his belt where I feel like he can definitely step up and take on the challenge that is Alex Morono, who, is pretty basic in his approach, wings, hooks, decent footwork, and has a grappling prowess. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm a fan of Morono. He definitely puts on great fights. I just feel like Matthew Zettersberger here is just going to showcase that he's just a better athlete. He's an improving fighter, and I think he gets the job done by KO in the second round. Give me Matt Zettersberger by second round KO. Moving on down the card. Woo! We got Drew Dober versus Rafael Alves, a lightweight bout coming in here. Drew Dober, 3 out of his last 5, and Alves 4 out of his last 5. But you know what? That one loss for Alves is probably one of the most dangerous lightweights around, Demir Islamgulov, which I'm a huge fan of, and I expected that to happen. Now, what I've been noticing about the featherweight, lightweight matchups that we're starting to really see is that these featherweights really have a speed advantage over lightweights, okay? Maybe the power is over there at lightweight. Maybe the physicality could be shown. But Alves being someone that used to fight on featherweight and drain his body down, coming in here fresh at lightweight. He's not killing himself to make the cut. I saw him dancing on the scale. He's bringing energy. Drew Dober looked a bit sucked out on the scale. We know he cuts a lot of weight. I think he comes down from like 180 pounds to 155. He throws great power. He's very composed. Nice leg kicks. Dog. Granite chin. But that chin has been tested recently. We've seen him rocked and wobbled more so nowadays than we've ever seen in the past. I think Rafael Alves has the opportunity here to crack him on the chin and jump the ghillie, which he is known to do. But, difficult task, I would say, to jump a ghillie on a guy like Drew Dober. So I can honestly see Rafael Alves just working his speed, working his Muay Thai ability, and just outpacing Drew Dober in a close contest. I like the dog here. Give me Rafael Alves and give me him by unanimous decision. Moving on down the card here, we got a heavyweight bout. Don'Tale Mayes versus Hamdy Alawab. Well, Hamdy Abdelwahab. I hope I didn't butcher that, brother. Anyways, here, listen, I like Don'Tale Mayes when he was a even money pick. I even like him at minus 170 here. Hamdy doesn't have a lot of MMA experience. He's been doing bare knuckle boxing fights. He's taking this fight on short notice. You obviously heard that rumor circulating around that he was supposed to be scheduled to do another fight in Canada, and then got the call up short notice to the heavyweight division. He is physically strong. He does have a wrestling, ability that he hasn't really showcased too much, but it's available, right? And then we got a guy in Don'Tale Mayes that I feel like has definitely paid his dues, gone up against tough competition, and beat the guys that doesn't deserve to be in the UFC. I think Hamdy's one of those guys that probably doesn't deserve to be there. We got the reach advantage. We got the height advantage. We got the experience advantage. Give me Don'Tale Mayes, and I think he gets this done similar to how he put away Josh Parisian. Gets the boy down when he's tired, crucifix him, and finishes him with elbows from the top position. Give me Don'Tale Mayes by TKO, late second round, early third round. and I like him there in that spot. Whew. Got another lightweight bout. You know these lightweight contests are stacked. We got Drakkar Klose versus Rafa García. Listen here. Klose coming in winning 4 out of his last 5, and Garcia winning 3 out of his last 5. Listen, I like the dog shot here on Rafa García, and I'll tell you why. 7 years younger, constantly improving. I think we've seen the finished product that is Drakkar Klose. He's a competitive guy. He's able out there to put up these competitive fights against, Lana Venata, Bobby Green, Christos Giagos, and, lost to Beneil Dariush, although he had him hurt, and then Brandon Jenkins. But you know what those names all have in common? These guys aren't ranked, right? These guys aren't that impressive, right? You got a guy in Lana Venata, Bobby Green, Christos Giagos. Those guys got a lot of losses, right? Then we got a guy in Rafa García that took losses to Nazareth and losses to Chris Grussmacher. Guys that I would assume that Drakkar Klose could take care of. Then you got other situations here where he has wins over Humberto Bandenay, Natan Levy, and Jesse Ronson. Now, I do like the dog shot on Rafa just because the fight is potentially going to be close. I like the wrestling advantage here for him. But because the fight is close, it doesn't necessarily mean he is going to pull it off. I see an avenue where Drakkar Klose can definitely implement his leg kicks and land clean shots and do some clinch work. But because this fight is going to play out close, and because Drakkar is lined at nearly 2-1, I think even though I kind of feel Drakkar might edge it out, I can't make a play on him. And for the sake of this prediction, I'm going to go with the dog. I'm going to go with Rafa García, go out there and make this real close and grimy and probably give Drakkar a fight he didn't expect to have in the octagon. Now, I got to take a look here. Oh, that's right? If we really take a look here, Rafa García hasn't had the opportunity to fight in front of a crowd. Very interesting point here, where Drakkar Klose, has definitely multiple experiences inside on pay-per-view cards. It's just another day for him. You know what, guys? I'm teeter-tottering on this one. I think it's a dog or pass. But you know what? Based on that type of experience, based on Drakkar Klose kind of having a feeler fight, I'm going to say he slightly ekes it out. But it's definitely a dog or pass betting-wise. But give me Drakkar Klose by split decision. Guys, sorry I had to teeter on that one. But, such a close fight. I definitely might even have a little play on Rafa García, but Drakkar could edge a close decision here. Moving on down, we got a welterweight bout. We got a welterweight bout between Michael Morales and Adam Fugitt. Man, oh man, Michael Morales got his $50K payday and just got tatted up. But what an elite specimen of an athlete is he. Great striking, great grappling, toughness. Really wonder how he's feeling being such a massive favorite and, coming in here. Probably thinks he's going to roll over. You hope he's not too young and too naive to know that, you gotta take everybody seriously, right? And the guy in 8-2, Adam Fugitt, coming off a, spectacular win over Solomon Renfrew. He was a big dog there. I think this fight will be a little closer than people suspect. But I got to go with the prospect in Michael Morales, man. He impressed me, and I tried to fade him with Trevin Giles, and he made me pay. I respect you. And I think I also bet against him on the Contender Series. I ain't going to do it again. We're not going to go 0-3 on Michael Morales. So I'm going to pick Michael Morales to win the fight. But I think it goes late. I think he wins a unanimous decision. Moving on down here to a bantamweight bout. We got Jin Young Kim versus Joselyne Edwards. Fire Fist versus Le Pantera. Man, Joselyne Edwards, to me, struggling on weight. She's a very inconsistent fighter. We really don't know what we're going to expect from her. Wins here over Yanan Wu, not that impressive, and Ramona Pascal, and losses to Kara Hosa and Jessica Rose Clark. So, a very diverse, I guess, level of competition. Kara Rosa, I believe, is a top-tier opponent. And then you got a couple of girls like Jessica Rose Clark who are just running the mill. Yanan Wu and Ramona Pascal, not that impressive. On the other end here, we got Jin Young Kim with a loss to Antonina, Grasso, Molly McCann, Priscilla Cachoeira. Some of these fights very close, but, nonetheless, fights that she lost. 6 years younger is Joselyne Edwards. Even though Jin Young Kim is going to have the 2-inch reach advantage here. Listen, I like Kim. She's going to try here and avoid 4 losses in a row. I think she's training over there at Bantao there in Thailand. But I'm going to go with the younger. I'm going to go with the more hungrier prospect here in Joselyne Edwards. I think she's going to land a lot of teep kicks. I think she's going to keep Jin Young Kim in kicking range and steal a decision with volume. I don't think Jeonyeon Kim's going to have the ability to take her down and hold her down. So I can see Joselyne Edwards just really using that kicking game, landing punches from the outside, being the bigger woman, being more comfortable at this weight class than Jeonyeon Kim. And I see her winning a split decision, honestly. I seeing it be very close, but Joselyne Edwards just marginally taking away the victory. And as you can see from her track record, she seems to have a good time against these, good time against these Asian women. You know what I mean? A W over a Chinese prospect, Yanan Wu, then Ramona Pascal. Now she's going over Korea to take over. So I'm going to say she continues the trend and goes 3-0 over Asia. Give me Joselyne Edwards fighting out of Panama, not to mention. All right, guys, we got a light heavyweight bout here between Negumereanu versus Ihor Potieria. A lot of people rushing here to bet Nikolai, you know what I mean? And he's a guy that I had a spot on against Alexa Kamor. I also took the spot on him against Ike Villanueva, but definitely didn't think he would have pulled out the victory against Kennedy Nzechukwu, but what a weird fight. Very awkwardly scored. Listen, guys, I know the record from Ihor is a little bit questionable. I think people are kind of relating this to the Askar Morozov guy from Ukraine who had his record kind of padded up. But you know what, man? I think Ihor is legit. I think he's legit. I think he's going to land, and I think he puts out Nikolai, because the Nikolai is a guy that comes forward and he's going to basically try and close the distance. And we've seen Ihor pull out the victory in these certain spots. 20-2, it's a little padded, and I see all the love coming on Nikolai. I understand at the dog price, but at this point now, being a pick'em, you guys got to understand here, I do like Ihor in the spot, and I'm going to stand on an island, even though the betting world is on Nikolai. He's hittable, and this guy can crack. Give me Ihor Potieria, and I'll say that he comes through again as an underdog and gets his first win in his UFC debut. Moving on down, we got the opener, Orion Cosce versus Blood Diamond. Blood Diamond, man. To me, he just doesn't look physically strong. I think he'll be able to get manipulated by a lot of wrestlers, as long as they don't come with this double leg approach. I'm finding it's a lot easier to defend the double legs in MMA than it is to defend these guys that really work in the clinch and body lock you to the ground. Orion Cosce definitely showcased difficulty against Philip Rowe, but Philip Rowe is a guy that's difficult to take down. He's difficult to wrestle. We've seen a couple of wrestlers really gas out trying to bring down Philip Rowe, who, what is Philip Rowe, 6'3", 9 inches of reach. Orion Cosce is not going to have to deal with the exact same measurements as you see Blood Diamond coming here at the same height with only a 5-inch reach advantage. The line's a little crazy, 2-1 favorite, but give me Orion Cosce training out of alpha male. I think he takes down Blood Diamond and ground and pounds him and gets the sub. And Blood Diamond goes 0-2 in the UFC. He came in a little too green, man. 3-0, now he's 3-1. I think he'll be 3-2 and send his butt back over to kickboxing. Although I'd love to see him, because Israel keeps talking about Black Jelly. I'd like to see it, but we just are not going to see it. Give me Orion Galaxy Cosce, second round TKO via ground and pound. So I just want to thank you guys again. This is definitely a longer video. So thank you guys again for watching. If you stay tuned to the end, but this is the time where we post the public parlays and I show you some of the leans I got on this card. I gotta say, spots I'm targeting: Dontel Mays, Rafael Alves, Matt Semelsberger, Pantoja, Sergei Pavlovich. Still debating on what I'm gonna do about the co-main event. And in the main event, man, can't believe I'm turning my back on one of my favorite fighters of all time, but I do think the dog gets it done. Thank you guys again for watching Southpaw Picks, and we're going to continue to make this a 4-week winning streak and carry it on into the next card next week. Thank you guys again for watching Southpaw Picks. This is Charles. Catch you later.